Hi everyone, happy Friday. I ended up getting my document camera from the classroom. This is a game changer. I can show you things on the document camera and you can watch what I'm doing instead of on that whiteboard. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to draw an angle with a protractor. So this is a better view of the protractor. Here's our protractor. In the middle is that hole in that circle that I was telling you that you needed to match up your rays, where your rays meet at the end point together. And here is the black line that you are matching up those rays with. You notice on this protractor at the bottom, that's a ruler. It has about 4 inches on this one at the bottom. There are also protractors that are a bit bigger. I'm using this one. It's just a small size. This is the exact same thing. It's just a larger size protractor. And this one is a 6-inch across. It still measures angles the same way, but I sometimes use a smaller one because it's easier to see when I'm using the document camera, and you can see all the different parts of it. So to draw an angle, let's pretend that somebody told you that you needed to draw an angle that was 50 degrees. The first thing we need to do is we need to start with and make our ray that we're going to have at the bottom of our protractor. So using that bottom of the protractor, that flat edge, you can draw your ray. I'm just drawing a straight line. And I'm going to make it a ray. I make it a ray by adding the arrows at the end. I could do it this way. I could also draw them on this side, and I'll show you in a minute what happens if I draw them on this side. Now this is going to be my end point where my other ray is going to come off of this. So this is my ray, and now I'm going to take that, and just like when we measure, I'm going to put my circle over the end point, and I am going to match up my ray with that dotted line all the way over to the 0. I'm not going to start with 180. I have to start with 0. And then I'm going to go up my protractor 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and find my 50 mark. Right underneath that 50 mark, I'm just going to put a dot there. Does everyone see where I put the dot? Now I need to make my ray. To make my ray, I need to use this end point, and my ray is going to need to come through that dot right there that marks 50 degrees. So I line these two up, and I draw a line from my end point through my point that marked 50 degrees. Then I make this part into a line, and that is going to draw a angle that is 50 degrees, and that's the measurement of it. Now what happens if, and I was telling you this, what happens if I am going to draw an angle and I'm deciding to draw an angle that's, I'm going to pick another measurement. I'm going to say I'm going to draw an angle that's 130 degrees. Same thing. My first step that I'm going to do is I am going to draw a ray. And I told you this ray, when I draw it, I'm going to actually make it so this is my line, this is my end point, and I'm going to use my protractor the same way. I line up my end point with that hole in the middle, and then I'm going to have to line up this dotted line with my ray that's on my paper. So I might have to move that around so it's perfectly lined up. And I go over to this side of the protractor because my ray goes in this direction. Remember last time how we were going in this direction? Well, this time I'm going in this direction. And what am I going to do? I'm going to start with 0. And when I start with this side of the protractor, my 0 is on the outside. Notice how over here my 0 was the inside. Over here is going to be the outside, and I'm going up to 130 degrees. So I go up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. I'm going to go out to where 130 is, and I'm going to put just a nice dot. Now remember last time how I did the dot on the inside? Well, since this 130 is on the outside, I'm going to draw my dot on the outside to mark it. Now that I've done that, I need to connect my end point. I'm going to make my ray. I'm going to connect my end point and my dot that ended up marking that 50 degrees. So I turn, and I'm using that flat side of my protractor, that ruler side, and I'm going to line up my end point and that dot, and I'm going to draw a ray. It goes right through that dot. I'm going to continue it on a little bit, and then I make it into that line with the arrows at the end. This is telling me that this is, and what I ended up drawing was 130 degrees. Now, just like we always do, we have to think about it. Does this make logical sense? Okay? This angle that I ended up drawing is an obtuse angle. And a 130 degree angle is obtuse because it's over 90 degrees. Yes, this makes sense that a 130 degree angle would look like this. So I know you probably don't have a protractor at home to practice this, but I wanted you guys at least to see how you end up using your protractor to draw an angle. So today is Friday, and next week is spring break. I hope you guys have a wonderful spring break, and I will see you after spring break. Bye.